Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm happy today to have yet a distinguished guest, son of the soil, a profile leader in Africa, a former head of state of the Republic of Nigeria. And tonight, I want to let you know that we have in the house His Excellency Jonathan Ebele Goodluck. Your Excellency, we want to warmly welcome you to Uganda, Africa, and for the 11th graduation ceremony. I hope that you have had a nice travel from Nigeria, and we are very happy to see you in Uganda. My name is Maganda Evans Tabingwa. I am the CEO for Tanya Innovations. I'm also a member of staff, Cavendish University, Uganda. I'm the vice chairperson of the graduation committee, and on behalf of the committee and people of Uganda, we welcome you to this event.
Evans, thank you so much.
Thank you. Your Excellency, this is the second time you're coming to congregate the graduates at Cavendish University, but also knowing that we had your predecessor, His Excellency Mkapa, Benjamin Mkapa, the late, by being appointed or by being selected to become the Chancellor. What motivated you to accept becoming the Chancellor of Cavendish University all the way from Nigeria?
Evans, thank you so much for bringing this matter up. First, I'm quite happy to be here in Uganda today. Uganda is a pearl of Africa.
Yes.
And it's a beautiful country, a country that has history, a country that has a number of things that young Africans remember Uganda for. And when you asked me about why I decided to accept, it's an interesting question. Because really, I asked myself, why should I accept when I got the letter? But frankly speaking, there was a time myself and some group of young Africans who were into the academics and global issues, and were discussing the role that private universities could build in terms of the university education in Africa. And we were going country by country and looking at which universities are coming up and so on. Somehow the name Cavendish came up. I can't remember exactly who brought up that name, but that was some years back.
Yes.
So when I received the letter after even leaving office, and what I should, they would want me to be the Chancellor. And in the letter, they indicated my immediate predecessor, who was somebody, I respect someone's capacity, you mentioned, somebody who will not accept nonsense, somebody who believes that things must be done thoroughly, and somebody who maintains standards, and somebody that does not compromise his integrity. I felt that for him to have served as the Chancellor, that in fact my tiny feet cannot even fit into his shoes, because we adore those of our leaders, and they were leaders. They were not leaders that were thinking about themselves.
Wow.
So that his name being mentioned in letter, first clear it that, look, this is where to go. Then I now recollected that yes, there was something we were talking about private universities in Africa, and CUU was mentioned. So I said, okay. Then normally ask my people to do some research work, because having been a president, whenever you get a letter from an organization, from this, even within their country, you send to the security intelligence system, find out about these people. I will not accept anything except the research comes out positively.
Correct.
So when I asked my people to look into it, what came out was quite positive. So I said, fine, we should associate with that university, and especially their focus on science and technology is quite commendable. So I said, 5 years, let me see what I can do with them.
Okay. Wow, that is quite great. And then maybe that puts the position of the late His Excellency in such a high place, because I can assure you that young people in Uganda and many other places that we have been able to go, they also hold you very highly. In fact, one of the questions later, I'll bring it at that particular point. But I think we can say as young people, it's our pride to have people of such stature. Tomorrow, we're having the 11th graduation ceremony. We've not had a very easy time for the parents and the young people. I think many families have been disorganized because of the COVID season. So as these students are graduating, the parents who are coming from different countries are coming to join their children. What particular message will you have in your capacity that you want to pass out to these particular graduates? Because we're looking forward to make sure that they can get this message even before they come, or to the parents, in relation to either the lessons that we have learned through the COVID season and the harsh times that we have been able to go through. What particular message do you want to send to the graduates and the parents?
Thank you so much. First, for the graduates and the parents, I have to congratulate them for being able to keep their words true this challenging period. The COVID-19 was a major challenge, even to the industrialized world. It affected them seriously, and it has brought down the economy, the global economy, and most countries are really suffering now. So it is quite a challenging period. But for the message, congratulate them, and also tell them that I'm quite pleased that their words are graduating from Cavendish University. Because when you talk about COVID-19, it reminds me, I was the president of Nigeria when we had Ebola in West Africa. And I knew the steps I took. In Nigeria, we used to have even bird flu and so on. We had Ebola, COVID. So everything that is challenging offers human society opportunity.
Okay.
And for you, if you look at the concept of leadership shift, when you have challenges, a good leader must make a shift that you have to adapt to the environment. That means that you have to develop means of sustaining yourself.
That's correct.
And this is all controlled by science and technology.
Okay.
So it is a good thing that we are facing this kind of challenges. And it's a good thing that their awards have survived it.
Okay.
And it's a good thing that the awards studied from Cavendish University that really place so much emphasis in STEM areas, science and technology.
Okay.
And it is a challenge to the university, is a challenge to the scientific world, that we must develop the capacity of confronting such situations.
Okay.
So that we can always adapt to the changes.
Thank you very much. Maybe that explains, Cavendish University has made a number of progress in the year 2022. This year and the previous year, Cavendish was awarded the Best Consumer Award. Yeah, and we've also seen Cavendish doing very well in terms of online. In fact, it's one of the few universities that has had a credible online platform. It was the first university that was approved to do online teaching. Of all these success stories of Cavendish University, in terms of becoming the best consumer university, getting the consumer award, 2 successive years, and the progress that it has made in the area of learning, e-learning. What does this mean to you as the Chancellor? How do you associate with these achievements?
In fact, I'm quite pleased with the information you have given me, and of course the university have already informed me that we award this Consumer Merit Award which is key, because universities, just like industries, produce commodities. And if you produce certain goods, or even if you produce services, and these goods and services have been accepted by society, and you are winning the award as one of the best, that means that people appreciate you. So to us in the Cavendish University, it's, to me as the Chancellor especially, it's a pride to be a part of the university.
Thank you.
And when you talk about the issue of e-learning and etc. vis-a-vis the COVID-19, I have to commend Cavendish University. Because just like when I came for the first graduation that I was appointed as the Chancellor, of course that I was properly briefed. And for us to be accepted as the first to initiate e-learning for the tertiary level of education, at a time that the COVID just took everybody by surprise, it's a clear commendation that the university is focused. Because let me tell you, and of course you know more than me because you're a young person, in the days when we attended universities, what you are taught in the universities, maybe 4 years degree program, 5 years degree program, you still use those skills for maybe for the next 20 years. You still remember what you were taught. But now, what we are confronted with, what scholars all over the world are saying is that what undergraduates learn in the universities cannot sustain them for more than 5 years.
That's right.
Because of the changing in technology and so on. So for COVID to come without announcing, and for Cavendish to quickly adjust their system and adapt to the system, they don't conform. If you conform, you drift. But when you adapt, you create modifications that helps you to contain the challenges. So for Cavendish University to quickly adapt to the COVID environment is very commendable.
Okay.
And I'm happy that our graduates will be proud graduates because they have been taught the skill of adaptation.
Okay.
No matter the changes, you are trained to use their brain to come up with options. I always say that the brain of a human being is like atomic energy. You can use it for any purpose you want. You can use it to destroy. You can use
whether
it to,
good or bad.
Yes.
Okay.
So Cavendish University has the clear focus of training brains that adapt. You can read mechanical engineering, you can read civil engineering, electrical engineering, and all kinds of. But then society changes. And how you use that your brain to change and adapt to it, that's what makes you a graduate.
Okay.
So we are turning out real, conventional, modern graduates.
Thank you. So then that brings me to the next question, Your Excellency. In Africa, I think this comes from your experience as a former head of state, knowing that Nigeria is one of the largest economies in Africa. From your experience and from the experiences of the disruptions that COVID brought in Africa, and in relation to the African vision of African vision of 2063, do you think that as Africans we are doing enough in the higher education to cope up with the fast pace of industrialization? Because you appear to say that there have been very many challenges that come with fast-paced changes, which I actually agree. What do you think about the African governments and the African systems and the higher education as to whether we are doing enough, or what would you advise maybe the young generation of the institutions to do to be able to cope up with those changes?
Well, thank you. In the first place, Africa as a continent is huge. Forget about the size based on the global map. Because of this, the banana peel theory of map drawing. Africa is big. Made up of about 54 states and more, I imagine. So it's difficult to say the whole of Africa is at one position. But on the average, I can say, yes, we are progressing. When I was undergraduate, in a country like Nigeria, there was no private university. Until I got my PhD, there was no private university.
Okay.
But now the number of private universities are coming up like cabinets, even trying to. I think maybe in the next few years there will be more than the federal government and state government-owned universities.
That's true.
When I was undergraduate, it is only one state, incidentally my own state, River State then, that had a university, called University of Science and Technology. But now every state, we have 36 states, every state has a university of its own. The federal government, in fact, when I was the president alone, I established 12 conventional universities and 3 specialized universities. That is 15 universities within the 5 years that I was the president. So the number of tertiary educations is expanding. So but if you look at that concept of that vision, yes, it's an AU vision. Some countries will definitely get there, and they are doing well. When I was in office, there was this merit award given to one scholar, and of course it is a South African from a South African university. And the issue was that how many African universities could really be in position to win that kind of award, because it has to do with science and technology. So you must first of all get the laboratory or the engineering workshops and other facilities to get. So some countries are doing well, some are still not doing too well. On the average, we're moving and we're progressing. But one key thing I've noticed is that the evolution of private universities is very, very commendable. Just like where the CUU fits in. Even in Nigeria, the evolution of private universities is changing the dynamics of university education.
Okay.
Where some public universities owned by government will not have issues of strike and no strike, the private universities don't have those kind of restrictions. Okay. So I believe with the evolution of private universities like Cavendish University coming up, I think in the next few years, the university education in Africa, vis-a-vis the contribution to science and technology globally, will improve and will get to where we are hoping to get to.
Okay. Now you have just hinted something on the behavior. I think it's in terms of strikes, and I think that reminds me about the behaviors. Today's young people, from your experience, I mean, it's not an easy task. We can only say that it's a God-given chance for somebody to grow from the village or to grow from where he has been to become a head of state and to do the noble jobs we are doing right now of changing other people's life. What will you want to talk to our young people? Yeah, this platform here, we have so many other young people in different places of different countries. What message will you want to give to young people, especially with the rampant erratic behaviors that we are getting out of young people? What would be your advice in terms of discipline, in terms of behaviors, in terms of if they actually want to succeed and take this continent forward?
I used to tell young people that, look, success in society, in whatever you define success to be, some people define success as stupendous wealth you will acquire. Of course, that is success. If your vision is to be very rich. Success could be the academic qualifications. When we were undergraduates, our aspiration was to be like to be professors. That was the maximum we were looking. We were not looking for billions, but we wanted to excel in academics.
Okay.
Success could be like you want to be known globally, or at least nationally. So success is not all about money. There are some people that have money that nobody wants to hear their names. So I always tell young people that what can make you succeed is discipline.
Okay.
And that's why I always remind undergraduates, whenever I'm going to address the younger undergraduates, I always tell them that when a university wants to award degrees, listen to the Vice Chancellor. I don't know whether that is only in Nigeria, but I don't know whether that is also in Uganda and other countries. But in Nigeria, the Vice Chancellor said that those who are qualified by by character and learning, They will never say by learning and character. There are those who are qualified by character and learning. That means that for you to be a graduate, actually, you must be qualified by learning, you must be qualified by character. Okay. And if you lack any, ordinarily university is supposed to withhold your degrees. And I will be happy if universities will begin to withhold degrees, or people who, even if you have A in your subjects, and you are not worthy to be called a graduate because your character doesn't deserve that appellation. Okay. So if you are patient and you have character, I came from nowhere. My parents were among the poorest Nigerians from the rural part of the country. Throughout my primary school days, I never saw shoes. We were all, in fact, in those days, all the primary schools in the rural area were going to school barefooted. Mm-hmm. It was from my secondary school that they were wearing standards and canvas and so on. So I grew up from that background. Wow. But I became the president of this country because of character.
That's great.
So if you want to succeed, politically, I'm a success story. I may not have any money, but in terms of politics, I'm a success story. That's why I'm saying success depends on what you define by success. So if you want to succeed in any area, you must be disciplined. Of course, focus, committed, and pursue your vision.
Wow, that is. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. On this very last question, there have been, when I say talks in the corridors, there have been, I think, from the way you have provided leadership in Cavendish University and from your previous history, there have been suggestions that there is need for putting an online platform for discussions. There have been suggestions that we could create a platform where we could be able to get this type of wisdom, once in a month, yeah? And we were thinking that there could be an organization where different members of staff from different parts of universities in Africa can be talking about some topical issues. And they wanted to put that program in your honor. The question is that, is this something that you can embrace? Is it possible that every month online we can be able to get these words of wisdom, just like what you have spoke today? I'm sure it's going to change many lives out there. Can we have a platform in your honor where we can have topical discussions in Africa and different grades, and your availability for that matter to be on such platform per month, at least online?
Oh, thank you so much. If such platform could be developed, it's something that I will appreciate. And most of my friends will sincerely appreciate it because it's worth doing. But to do that successfully costs money. Even the internet that you use is money. And to get people to get things done properly, doing things properly is costly. Planning and expensive. So if we can plan very well and it could be done properly, probably at the beginning you may not do it monthly. You can start quarterly.
Correct.
And depending on the acceptability of the program, you can graduate it to monthly.
Correct.
I will surely, since it is online, and that is one of the things that COVID has brought to us. Even in business and everything, we hold so many, almost every week, I'm having one conference or the other, but I stay in my office to participate. Right. So that is the gain that people have gotten from COVID, and makes a big challenge. More people are coming up with different products to make sure that people have conferences and meetings seamlessly with. So if we can do it, it's good. I will appreciate it. Okay. I will join it from wherever I am in the world. I will appreciate it, but it has to be properly done, and we must be sure that the arrangement, the funding, and so on has been sorted out.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I think with what is coming out of you, we can stay here, speak and speak. The appetite of listening to what you are saying will be so high. Do you have any last remarks you want to make to the African people, the young generation, the elders? Any last comments you want to make to our viewers?
Thank you so much. for me as an African, my advice to all of us is that, look, as a continent, we must start doing things differently. In Africa, most of the countries complain of colonialism. We are colonial because people had superior technology than us. They came up with firearms that we never had. And maybe only 10 soldiers could conquer a city of 500 people because they had superior technology. This world is controlled by technology.
Correct.
We are here in this room. What makes us here and conversation through is that biological sciences, chemistry, chemical sciences, physical sciences, mathematics, these three make us to be here. So technology is key. I'm not saying other subjects are not important. We need the lawyers, we need the administrators, we need the historians, and so on and so on.
Yes.
In fact, even the administrator, for you to do well, you need a computer. For a lawyer to do well today, you need a computer. For a historian to do well, when you talk about if the archaeologists excavate and see the relics that they can construct my history, for you to do the dating is science.
That's right.
The primitive one used in those days, like carbon-13 dating, and every dating system is science, a more modern system. So, as Africans, we must focus the STEM areas and encourage our young people. They must. I'm not saying if your son wants to study anything, that say no. Whatever a word want to study, allow that person to study. In most cases, after their first degree, they veer off. Let people study what they believe is good for them.
Okay.
We need those who will entertain us. But of course, the instrument they use for entertainment are based on science and technology.
Thank you.
To video them, and this is science and technology. So yes, there may be shift in science and technology, which is okay. Because if Africa was lost out from the Industrial Revolution, in fact, even the agricultural revolutions were lost out. The technological revolution that is still going on, because every day things are changing. As I mentioned earlier before, I read a book not too long ago and saying that from analysis quoted the different sources, said that what students, especially in the technical areas, what they learn in the university, after 4 or 5 years they graduate. In the next 5 years,
they don't have
all those ones become stale because of innovation.
That's right.
Even a smartphone that you use, every day they actually need to update it.
Correct. Right.
That is knowledge. Every day you start. Smartphone, update. That means that every day new inventions are coming up. And Africa must key in. We cannot begin to... I think we're wasting too much into politics. Because the energy we waste in politics in Africa, I feel so sad. I'm a politician. After the point I became the president of my country, won election as a president, but I lost my second election anyway.
That's an interesting.
So I think sometimes we waste so much energy in politics as if that is the beginning end of the world. No. We need to encourage technology. We need to be totally involved in technology.
Okay. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. We come to the end of this interview. You have just been listening to His Excellency Jonathan Ebele Goodluck, the current Chancellor of Cavendish University. As you have heard, he was the former head of state, the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He has given his story, a very appealing story to the young people. He started when he could not be able to put on shoes, but he had to wed all the storms to become the head of state. And as you have listened to him making the comments he has made, I hope you have been able to pick one or two things. He's currently the Chancellor of Cavendish University. We shall be with him tomorrow on the 11th graduation ceremony of Cavendish University. Thank you very much again, Your Excellency, for coming to this show. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you, my son.
Thank you.